Well, the aroma of Christmas is definitely in the air today because we're at one of the biggest growers and distributors of Christmas trees in the states of Oklahoma and Arkansas. We're just 7 miles south of Sallisaw at Hunt's Christmas Tree Farm. And joining me to find out more about it is Jackie Hunt. Jackie, welcome to Oklahoma Gardening.
Thank you, Steve. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. Now tell us, how did you guys get in the Christmas tree operation as a family business?
Well, my father, he actually started in 1952, did retail for a while, and everybody come up to his lot and said, Jack, you've got wonderful looking trees, where'd you get them? And that was the start.
Now he also has some interest earlier on too, I understand. He had another career, but he kind of liked to piddle a little bit in gardening and growing.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
He was a firefighter, and of course, as you know, firefighters 24 on, 24 off, and in his off time, he always had to have something to do. He did landscape in the spring, watermelons in the summer, and then Christmas trees rolled around after that.
And here we are today.
This is it.
Now I understand you're primarily wholesale.
Yes.
But you're getting ready to start retail a little bit. But as far as wholesale, there's two aspects of that too, and you've got cut trees and also ball and burlap. Now tell us about the Oklahoma operation and what you're growing, how many acres, that type of thing.
Okay, well here in Oklahoma, right now presently the trees that are coming off, we've got close to 50 acres that are coming off. We have 150 total acres. And everything we raise here in Oklahoma to this point is strictly balled and burlap for live trees and Christmas trees. But eventually we'll get into a few cut trees off our own plantation.
Okay, and then that's where we're at now. You've got new plantings. How many acres and how far down the road, and what are we looking at?
Okay, we're looking at roughly 6-7 years down the road. We've got 13,000 planted this year, and the next 2 years we'll do 15,000 per rotation. So.
Okay, so it's going to take us 6 to 7 years before you can ever come in and harvest these trees.
Absolutely.
So you'll be doing a little bit more
That's the most
retail.
deceiving thing with Christmas trees. They think they grow in a year or two, and it just takes a little more time and tender love and care.
Okay, now in addition to the Christmas tree wholesale part with ball and burlap, you also have some other farms and are buying and bringing in. Tell us about the distribution and how it affects the state of Oklahoma.
Well, first of all, we have 2 wholesale lots. One's in Oklahoma City, and this is now our second one. We bring in trees from Michigan, North Carolina, Canada, Wisconsin, and Oregon. And roughly we sell close to 50,000 trees.
Okay, and you're growing some, I think, too, in Michigan, right?
Yes, we have 90 acres. We've got 90,000 trees there, and they were planted in 3 different crops of 30,000, 30,000, and 30,000 per year.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to know that there's that big of an operation in the state, but I think it'll also be fun to find out the different types of trees. Jackie, let's go over here and take a look at some of the kinds you're growing and selling.
Let's do that.
About how many different types or cultivars do you distribute or grow?
About 10.
Okay. Well, why don't we highlight some of them and you give us some pointers on what to look for when we're buying them. Now, what do we have right here?
This is a Scotch pine. It's grown in the state of Michigan, and it's the #1 selling tree in the state of Oklahoma.
Now, that one will grow in Oklahoma, though,
yes,
too,
it will, and we are now presently starting to raise them in Oklahoma, but they're not up to size yet.
What about shelf life once we get them inside the home? Or
excellent shelf life. You've got a good 4 to 5 week shelf life for the Scotch pine.
And what would one retail for? So?
Roughly $16 to $20.
Okay, so now as we go down the line, we're moving up in price a
yes,
little bit.
We're moving up. Like right here, this is an eastern white pine. It comes from Wisconsin, and it's roughly a couple dollars more than the Scotch.
And it will grow in Oklahoma
It will.
too.
I have them in Oklahoma already, ready to go right now.
It's one of my favorites because of its soft texture. I mean, that's really a nice.
A lot of ladies love it because of that.
Now, what is the shelf life on one like this?
Shelf life there again, you're looking at a good 5 weeks with this.
Okay. Now we're going down into the firs, right? What is this? Probably the most common?
This is the most common. This is called a plantation Douglas fir. You find them in a lot of your convenience stores and so forth.
Okay. Any pros or cons on this particular
Well, the
tree?
shelf life on this is not near as great as in other trees. The shelf life in here, you're going to look at roughly 3 to 4 weeks, depends on what the temperature is.
But it smells good.
It's got an excellent aroma.
Okay. All right, now this one is also a fir. What kind?
This is a noble fir. This is from the state of Oregon again, and this is really becoming probably the most rapid selling tree besides the Scotch pine.
And why is that?
Just the texture, the smell, and just it's got good shelf life.
Okay, and it has a nice
layers.
display.
Yes, people like to decorate that nice looseness.
Now, what are we up to in price? Probably retail.
This would be a 4 to 5. On a retail, would roughly go about $21.
Okay, and again, pretty good shelf life.
Excellent.
Much better than the previous.
Yes, better than the Douglas fir.
Okay. Now this one you tell me is really catching on too because of its fragrance?
Right, this has the best fragrance of any tree. This is a grand fir. There again, it's from Oregon. But the shelf life is its bad point. Shelf life, you're only looking at roughly 3 weeks.
Okay. How would you describe that fragrance? Almost a sweet
orange, kind of a sweet orangey smell.
Okay.
Christmas.
It really is very, very fragrant.
Absolutely. A lot of people that buy this tree really love it because of the smell.
Okay. Now this is what you call the Cadillac of
This
the
is
firs?
the top of the line. This is a Cadillac. This is a Fraser fir, and it comes from the state of North Carolina. And there's only a certain area in North Carolina they can raise this, and that's around 2,000 foot elevation.
Okay, and its best selling
Best shelf
point.
life. It's got excellent shelf life. I would venture to say even in February, if you kept it up, would still be there.
But about an average of maybe 6 weeks.
A good
or so.
6 weeks,
okay.
yes.
So not as fragrant, but more in shelf life.
Absolutely.
Okay, now how about price on one
Now,
like this?
one like this one's going to run you $45 roughly.
And obviously these don't grow in Oklahoma.
No,
that's why
if
you
they
have
did,
to...
it'd be nice.
Okay.
Yes.
Now the ones right over here, Jackie, actually you have grown at your farm here in
Yes, now,
Sallisaw.
these come off my plantation just 5 miles from here on Kerr Lake, Robert S. Kerr.
And these are ball and burlap.
Yes.
And tell us about that and how these are catching on, maybe.
Okay, well, this is the Colorado blue spruce, and a lot of people, because of the environment, are really looking for trees that they want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One for the Christmas, and then put it in their yard because, you know, the environment and beauty.
Okay.
And then,
now, a blue spruce, that's one that a lot of people don't really expect to do well in Oklahoma, but you're having success with
we've had success for over 12 years with them, and they're really catching on.
Okay, Colorado blue spruce. How about with the ball and burlap price? Goes up, obviously.
Yes, one like this, ball and burlap, this is a 5 to 6 foot tree, and it's going to go roughly $75.
Okay, and the next one?
This is an Austrian pine, and this is also grown on my plantation.
Okay.
This is an excellent landscape tree. A lot of landscapers love this tree.
Okay. So another one well adapted for Oklahoma.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then of course a white pine, which we've talked about. Now there are other types that you can find ball and burlap too, but you've given us a great overview and the different kinds and some things to look for, and we appreciate you having us out to your place.
Well, thank you very much.
You,
Y'all welcome back anytime.
Okay, thank you.